You want the best for your children, right? Right. Then let's teach them the joy of mixing their cereal using 5 simple strategies. Welcome to the Cereal Fix, where we mix and fix our favorite cereals. Mixing cereals isn't just good for you, it's also good for your children. When children eat a good cereal mix, they get more fiber and less sugar. This keeps them satisfied and avoids the dreaded sugar crash, at least for a little while longer. Even though there are definite benefits to mixing your kids' cereal, it might take some convincing, coaxing, or even some conniving on your part. In the nicest way possible, of course. They might think it's strange at first, but the goal is to get them to try it, because they just might like it. Today I'm going to share 5 strategies that I've used to help my children appreciate a good cereal mix. Now before I begin, I need to point out something very important and central to the Cereal Fix philosophy. Every mix that I do and recommend has to have at least one non-sugar cereal in it. I say non-sugar in quotes because that doesn't mean that no sugar is added to the entire box. It's just what I call the category of cereals that are considered a bit plain or not flavored or not frosted and maybe considered a bit bland. No offense to the cereal makers. Non-sugar cereals include things like plain Cheerios, Rice Chex, Corn Chex, Rice Krispies, All Bran, Raisin Bran, and so on. Alright, so the first strategy is the direct approach. Tell your children to mix their cereal. Make it a part of the program and an expectation. That's how I learned to love it. My parents told me we had to have at least one non-sugar cereal in our bowl, and it's still ingrained in me. Maybe that rule was to make us healthier. Or maybe it was to make sure that all the kids in the family got to eat the good cereal. Or maybe it was to make us less hyper. I don't know. Maybe I should interview my mom one of these days and ask her. You don't have to be super grouchy or militant about your new rule. It could sound like, hey kids, let's try mixing that sugary cereal with something a little less sugary. Or, let's try something new. How about everyone puts one non-sugar cereal in their bowl? You could even ask them to start with a non-sugar base cereal, and then they can put whatever they want on top. Now this new rule or mandate or kind suggestion usually works with older kids and some of the younger ones. But I totally understand from experience that not every child is going to want to do this. Just ask my 5-year-old and 7-year-old. But just stick with me. I've got more strategies and more success stories. Next strategy, make the mix for your children and serve it to them. If you're worried about your kids' reaction to 2 cereals in one bowl, try putting similar textured cereals together. Like Kix and Berries, plain Cheerios and Honey Nut Cheerios, Wheaties and Honey Bunches of Oats, Corn Flakes and Frosted Flakes, Rice Krispies with Cocoa Krispies. You get the idea. These mixes don't provide a lot of texture variety, but it's a great way to introduce cereal mixing to children, and even some adults. The first cereal mix I give my kids after they turn 1-year-old and can drink cow's milk is Crispy Oats mixed with rolled oats. I'd say Cheerios, but in this instance I go with a generic Crispy Oats brand because there's no sugar added in the ingredients. No offense Cheerios, this is just one of those times where I'm going to be picky. I mean particular. Remember to serve your child a small portion, especially for a new mix, just in case they don't like it. Nothing is sadder than watching a perfectly good bowl of cereal go soggy. Then there's the sneaky strategy. Pre-mix the cereal inside a container. Tell them or don't, it's up to you. If you store your cereal in a plastic container instead of the bag or the box, then you can put more than one cereal in, and then your children automatically get a good mix. Or pour one cereal directly into the box of a half-finished cereal. They might not notice if you put like kinds together, or you can surprise them by putting 2 completely different ones together. Then your kids will get a surprise when they're pouring it out. Try it. Fun fact, my 3-year-old can taste the difference between plain Cheerios and a generic Cheerio, even if I sneak it into his bowl. So you're not always going to get away with it, and that's okay. Next comes the proximity strategy. Keep a good variety of cereals on hand so that your kids can experiment with different cereals when the mood strikes them. It's hard for kids to mix healthy cereals with frosted sugar bombs unless you have a good variety of healthy cereals on hand. Our 12-year-old started mixing plain shredded wheat with one of her favorite cereals just because we happened to have it in the pantry. And now she likes it. By the way, she's been mixing it with Honey Nut Cheerios. We'll cover more about what cereals to have on hand and how many in our staple cereals video. Perhaps the strongest strategy is to simply set a good example by mixing your own cereals. Model the behavior that you want your children to follow. That's not just good cereal advice, that's good parenting advice. Think about it. What do little children like to eat? Anything that's in your bowl. My 1-year-old loves to eat cereal with me at night after everyone else is in bed. Do you have a mini-me? Pour them a mini version of your cereal mix and be cereal buddies. The more you mix your cereal, the more normal it will be for your kids. So let them see you pouring, eating, and enjoying mixed cereals. So those are the 5 strategies for teaching your children to mix cereals. Tell them to mix their cereal for them, pre-mix cereals in a container, with or without telling them, put good cereals within their reach, and model good cereal mixing yourself. Please note that there will always be exceptional children who insist on being cereal purists. If I'm describing your child, just remember to keep a good variety of cereals on hand for them to try. The only cereal my 7-year-old has eaten for the last year has been Life cereal. But recently we brought home a box of Raisin Bran Crunch, and she loved it. She asked if she could mix it with her Life cereal. Even though I don't consider Raisin Bran Crunch a non-sugar cereal, I said yes because I wanted her to have a good experience of mixing cereals together. She really enjoyed it. When the Raisin Bran Crunch ran out, she easily transitioned over to Raisin Bran with her Life cereal. That's a major win in my book. In addition to the other mixes that we've mentioned in this video, I wanted to give you one more to try. This is one that my 3-year-old particularly likes. Honey Nut Cheerios, generic plain Cheerios, Frosted Flakes, and rolled oats on top. What's that you say? You've never tried rolled oats on top of your cereal? You should. It brings a chewiness that is just delicious. Try one of these mixing strategies with a child or an adult in your life and let me know what you think. As always, please like and subscribe to the Cereal Fix for more mixes and fixes. In the meantime, keep mixing it up.